A man possessed a cheap level skill, yet he never realized how to use it. Because of that, he ended up as the lowest ranked guard in the royal capital. What he didn't know was that the skill inside him, gluttony, was actually the strongest among all forbidden abilities. Any creature he defeated would become his strength. One night, Jack spotted a thief sneaking around. He immediately reported it to the paladin Jenny. She told Jack to keep watch there while she went after the thief, but unexpectedly, another thief came running out from inside. Jack didn't hesitate and cut him down on the spot. He didn't expect that killing the thief would unlock the gluttony system inside him. As the cold mechanical voice echoed, his stats instantly increased, and an extra ability, mind-reading appraisal, was added to his skill set. Only then did he realize that this skill activated by killing living beings. When Jack came back to his senses, he saw Jenny running toward him. She looked terrified that he might have gotten hurt because of her. She grabbed his hand and anxiously asked if he was alright. At that moment, Jack also heard her inner thoughts, clearly the effect of his new mind-reading ability. To thank Jack for taking down the thief, Jenny invited him to work for her family, thinking of how he got bullied every day by that scumbag paladin. Jack agreed right away. When he got home that night, he checked his status panel. His stats had already climbed into the triple digits. He figured numbers like these were enough to start hunting monsters and leveling up. So the next day, Jack took his savings to the weapon shop to buy a proper weapon, but the money he had could only buy trash that nobody wanted. To find something suitable, Jack picked up each sword and appraised it. After several rounds of testing, he grabbed a black iron sword. The moment he touched it, the sword spoke directly into his mind. Its name was Greed, and it said it was the same kind as him. It knew exactly how the gluttony skill worked, so Jack bought it without hesitation. To raise his power, Jack headed outside the city in search of goblins. Suddenly, one ambushed him from behind, but he reacted instantly and cut it down in one stroke. Then dozens more appeared. Jack launched into a killing frenzy, with system alerts ringing non-stop. He couldn't help but marvel at the power of gluttony. No matter how many goblins he fought, he didn't get tired. His stats kept rising, and the longer he fought, the easier it became. By the time everything was over, Jack's stats had already passed 4 digits, but strangely, his level hadn't gone up. This confused him. Greed explained that this was how gluttony worked. It could steal stats and skills, but it couldn't absorb experience points, so he would always remain level 1. Greed also warned Jack never to reveal that he possessed gluttony, because it was a skill that defied the god's laws. Jack cut off the goblin's ears as proof, and returned to the city to exchange them for a hefty bounty. He figured he could finally eat a big meal that night. Just then, he bumped into a man, dragging a young girl into an alley. Jack immediately sensed something was wrong. Using appraisal, he saw that the man's stats were close to his own, but his skill was hidden. If Jack confronted him directly, it could be dangerous, but he couldn't ignore it. He followed the man to an abandoned warehouse. After freeing the girl, Jack was discovered. Not knowing what ability the man had, Jack followed Greed's instructions. He circled behind some crates and knocked them down, drawing the man's attention. Before the man could activate his skill, Jack leapt forward and cut him down with his blade. Even though their stats were similar, the man fell instantly. From their exchange, Jack learned this wasn't the man's first time kidnapping kids, so he forced him to reveal who ordered him to do it. The name that came out was one of the paladins, Herd. Jack was stunned. Herd was one of the Bray family's 3 paladins, and before Jack awakened his skill, he had suffered plenty of bullying from them. He never imagined they were involved in something as vile as kidnapping children. Jack took the girl back to the orphanage and left. Then he checked the skill he had devoured, a technique that let him unleash 2 slashes in an instant. He felt incredibly lucky. If he had hesitated even a second earlier, he might have been the one to die. The next day, Jack arrived at Jenny's estate to start work. Jenny welcomed him personally. A week passed quickly. During that time, Jack didn't go out hunting, and life was peaceful enough, but there was one problem. No matter what he ate, he could never feel full. Hunger gnawed at him constantly. One day, he fainted from hunger. When he woke up in front of Jenny, he was already back home with a note on the table. Jenny had sent someone to bring him home, and told him to rest. Jack asked Greed what was happening to his body. Greed explained that this was gluttony's side effect. Once activated, the body would crave souls. If he didn't regularly kill monsters, he wouldn't just feel hungry. The skill would erode his mind, and he would lose control. The warning sign was his eyes turning red. This state was called gluttony's hunger boost, a condition meant to help him hunt more efficiently. His stats would spike dramatically for a short time. In that state, weak monsters would be too terrified to move. Hearing that, Jack rushed out of the city. His top priority was to break out of the state. Outside the walls, the goblins were indeed paralyzed with fear. Jack slaughtered them all quickly, but it still wasn't enough to break the hunger, so he turned toward the forest depths where stronger great goblins lived. Sensing danger, the great goblin tried to escape, but it couldn't outrun Jack. The forest was soon littered with their bodies, and Jack finally shook off the hunger state. To avoid this happening again, he resolved to regularly devour monsters. Suddenly, the ground trembled. A massive creature emerged, the Goblin King. Jack appraised it, and saw its incredible stats, but after a night of slaughter, Jack was no weaker. When he noticed the Goblin King had auto-recovery, a rare healing skill, Jack set his sights on it. He climbed above the Goblin King, and launched a surprise attack, cutting off its right arm. While it writhed in pain, Jack attacked again. His skill activated, his stats surged even higher, and he gained auto-recovery. Then Greed spoke. With his current stats, it was enough to unlock Greed's second form. To do so, Jack had to sacrifice all his stats, and offer them to Greed. Jack agreed without hesitation. As his power drained away, the sword in his hand began to transform, shifting into a demonic bow.